NBA midseason reviews and grades. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Hoops Life 24Q7, and today I'm going to be going over all 15 teams in the Eastern Conference, giving them a grade and giving them a small review for what they have done to this point in the season, because it is the All-Star break, so we're going to kind of consider this the mid-season point of the year. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting from the 15 seed going down to the 1 seed. So in last place in the East, we have the Detroit Pistons, who have a record of 10-26, and I am going to be giving them a D overall rating. Now, Detroit, the reason I don't give them an F for being the second worst team in the whole entire league is because I didn't expect them to be any better, right? It just didn't. You know, they really didn't have all the pieces. Jeremy Grant has been a breakout player. I'm really happy to see that, but you know, there's nothing else going on, so someone has to get those points on their team. They just bought out Blake Griffin today, which proves they got nothing in return for the Blake Griffin trade that they made a couple of years back. And then, like I said, Jeremy Grant's averaging 23 points a game, so great by him. But overall, I don't have that much to say about Detroit. They are tanking now. They're full blown into that, and we'll see what they end up doing going forward. Second team on the list, the 14 seed in the East, we have the Orlando Magic with a record of 13-23, and I am giving them a big fat F rating for the Orlando Magic. Come on, man. What is the deal, Orlando? Now, here's the thing about Orlando, man. Last year, they were in the playoffs. This year, at the All-Star break, they are 14 seed in the East. Okay, so that's not good. Vucevic is having a career year. He's averaging 24 points a game. But for me, man, it is time to blow it up. Their peak, really, truly, is going to be first-round playoff exit. They cannot do better than that, man. It's time to move on from Vucevic. It's time to move on from Aaron Gordon. Terrence Ross is their third leading scorer on the team, averaging 15 points a game. When Terrence Ross is your third leading scorer at this point in Terrence Ross' career, you have a problem, man. And I know there's no Markelle Fultz this year, and I know Cole Anthony looks all right, but look, man, I think it is time to start building and start over. But moving on to the 13 seed in the East with a record of 14-22, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I am going to give them a C- rating. C- rating for a couple of different reasons. They are the lowest scoring offense in the entire league, and they had such a log jam at center. They had Andre Drummond. They made the trade for Jarrett Allen. They have JaVale McGee. They got a lot of bigs who are only bigs. They don't play power forward. So Colin Sexton is averaging 24 points a game, and honestly, in his third year, is looking like a freaking breakout kid, man. So very impressive from Colin Sexton. I think Darius Garland looks okay. Honestly, I really don't know how to feel about Darius Garland. So if any Cleveland fans are out there, comment below. Tell me what you think of watching Darius Garland, because I've watched a couple Cavs games this year, but not too many. But I keep up with their stats and I watch the highlights. But you know, watching the full game gives you a whole different perspective. I do think, though, that getting Jarrett Allen was a huge trade for them, so I do give them props for that, because I think if you have Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, and you have Jarrett Allen, you do have some pieces to move around. But what is essential for the Cleveland Cavaliers is that they do get something in return for Andre Drummond. Do not just get him bought out, man. You got to get something back for him. Anyway, moving on to the number 12 seed, we have the Washington Wizards with a record of 14-20. And for the Wizards, I'm actually going to give them a C rating. Now, at the beginning of the year, it was easy to give them an F, sure, but Russell Westbrook was coming off injury, man. Even in the bubble, he was coming off injury. He was never quite right. And now that Westbrook's gotten moving, he's averaging 20, 10, and 10 a game. Okay, regardless of how you look at Westbrook, those are sensational numbers, man. Those are incredible numbers, man. Okay, now his offensive shooting isn't that great, but what he's doing is good for the team, and I think they're trending. Now, Bradley Beal's averaging 32.9 points a game, and he's shooting relatively efficient, not that efficient, but overall, they got two good players on the team. Apparently, they might look to move Westbrook, but we'll see what's that. Hachimura is playing all right, and Denny Avdija, he really hasn't done too much to me. And now, I know he had a good game the other night where he was pretty clutch. I think it was against the Clippers, but talk to me, Wizards fans, about what you think about Denny Avdija. And if I'm saying that name wrong, please disregard. But I do think that they could continue to turn the corner, because Westbrook is a beast, and as well as Bradley Beal's a beast. So we'll see what they do. Next on the list, at the 11 seed, we have the Atlanta Hawks with a 16-20 record, and I am going to be giving them a C rating. To start the year, they were at a B rating. They were doing great. Now, they did just fire their coach, Lloyd Pierce, who apparently had some turmoil, some tension with Trae Young, and they weren't seeing eye to eye. So maybe they'll move forward a little better with interim coach Nate McMillan, who has been a former head coach for a long time. Now, the reason I wouldn't be overly concerned about the Atlanta Hawks, because yes, they are an 11 seed, but they're only 8 games back from the #1 seed Philadelphia 76ers, and the 6th seed Miami Heat. They're only 6 games back from the Philadelphia 76ers. They're only 2 games back at the 11th seed from the 6th seed. So they're not out of it at all, man. They could definitely make a run and get things moving. But one of their star players, breakout players, I don't know if I'd say star yet, but DeAndre Hunter in his 2nd year has been averaging 17 points a game. But he has been out and only played about half of their games so far. And he is looking to be out for a couple more weeks, to 2, 3, 4. But I'm not sure. We'll see what happens with him. But he's going to be out for a while. So that was a big hit for them because Cam Reddish hasn't taken that leap. But DeAndre Hunter did. I also heard trade talks that they were looking to move John Collins. What do you guys think about that? Any Atlanta fans out there? What do you guys think about that? Because I personally think that he's a good fit with Trae Young. I thought they had good flow, man. Especially, you know, last year he was almost 20 and 10. So I think they have good flow. We'll see what happens with that. But Trae Young still at 26 and 9 a game. He's still having a great year. Next, at the 10 seed, we have the Indiana Pacers, who are 16 and 17. And I am also going to give them a C rating because they were a playoff team last year, a good one, and they just got rid of Oladipo and they brought in Karis LeVert, and he hasn't been able to play, but apparently Karis LeVert is going to be able to play this year. So keep an eye out on that. All prayers, man, to his health, man. That's fantastic that he's recovering and doing all right. So blessed, man. That's fantastic news. But for their team, I think it's a little bit of trouble when you're in the East, or if you're trying to be a championship team, and Malcolm Brogdon is your leading scorer at 21 points a game. So I think that is an issue. But Sabonis is an all-star. He turned out to be a great player that they got from Oklahoma City for Paul George way back. I do think they have some good pieces in Miles Turner, Sabonis, Brogdon, and LeVert. But is that the type of team that you think could really take you over the hump? No, or should you start looking to rebuild? I think they should start looking to rebuild. I think Indiana's got to wipe the slate, man. And I said that about a couple teams because I know some of these smaller market teams, to really just keep wiping the plate isn't always the best idea, and I get that. You know, I'm having Sam Hinkie mindset issues right now, but Indiana hasn't made over the hump. I think they peaked with Paul George, and I think they've tried to maintain that for a while, and I think it's time to kind of cut ties, start fresh, keep some good vets on the team, and move forward. Next on the list at the 9 seed, yes, the 9 seed, we have the Chicago Bulls, man, with the 16 and 18 record, and they are getting my first B rating on this tier list. And you know what, man? Chicago, let's go, baby. They got an all-star in the house. Zach LaVine averaging 28.7 points a game, shooting 52% from the field, shooting 43% from 3, and like 85% from the free throw line. Man, what? Zach LaVine, let's go, man. You know Minnesota is crying about that. Because if you remember way back, they basically chose to keep Wiggins over Zach LaVine. And I think we all know how that's turned out, because Zach LaVine is still trending, and he's still a relatively young player at about 25 years old. Now, as an offense, they score the 6th most points a game as an offense. And then on the defensive end, they let in 25th most amount of points on the defensive end. And so for the Chicago Bulls, I like Billy Donovan as their coach. I think he's bringing them together. I think Lauri Markkanen has woken up. He's at 19 points a game, so that's good to see by him. But keep in mind, the thing about the Bulls, man, last year at the end of the season, they were 22 and 43, right? Now this year they are 16 and 18. So they have almost already surpassed their wins from last year. So Bulls have been trending, have been striding. Impressive work by them. Kobe White's playing pretty well. He's at about 16 a game, but he's shooting like 42% from the field, so that's not a good sign. Right now, we need him to start getting some better efficiency. But we'll see how they do moving forward. You know, Wendell Carter Jr. is not too bad of a player either, so keep an eye out on that team. Zach LaVine, big ups, my brother. Way to go, dog. And then in the 8th seed in the East, the current playoffs were starting today with the old rules. These would be the teams in the playoffs. The 8th seed, we have the Toronto Raptors with a record of 17 and 19, and I'm actually giving them a C rating. Yeah, a C rating because Toronto, your leading scorer is Fred VanVleet. It's basically the same as Pascal Siakam, but Fred VanVleet's shooting 40% from the field. Yes, he's had some breakout games. Yes, he's played great basketball this year, but 40% is not good, man. That means you're a percentage away from being 30s, in the 30s, and that is not good. Norman Powell is averaging 18 points a game, so he's having a very good year. Overall, they have a lot of good players, and they have a fantastic coach in Nick Nurse. You know, I'll back him to the end, man. That guy's fantastic. But to really see where they could go, I think they're very limited, and I think they're limited to a second round at best season. And they need some more star power, firepower. They need to make some moves, make some trades, and then start moving up again, because they got a great coach, or the Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Raptors. They did good last year in the playoffs too. So Giving them a C rating. They did have a slow start to the year, but I think they're starting to trend upwards. But do I even see them as a contender? No, but as a potential second round team, depends on what seed they end up with going into the playoffs. And now in the 7th seed in the East, yes, I have not talked about this team yet, but the Charlotte Hornets are 17 and 18, and I am giving them an A- rating. Charlotte, stand up. What is going on in Charlotte, man? We got Gordon Hayward averaging over 20 points a game. We got Scary Terry averaging over 20 points a game. We got that boy young LaMelo averaging almost 16 a game, 6 boards, 6 assists. And here's the thing about LaMelo, man. He's shooting 45% from the field, 38% from 3, 38% from 3, and 82% from the free throw line. Bro, what? That's fantastic, man. That's fantastic. And over the last month, over February, he was averaging almost 20 and 8, dude. So this guy's playing incredible. He's electric, man. He's got a fantastic ball handle. They got lucky, man. They got lucky snagging him with that 3rd pick. Although, to be fair, Wiseman looks like a great player, and so does Anthony Edwards. But come on, Charlotte, let's go. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. It's good to see a competent, energetically contagious team with fantastic announcers and Del Curry and that other guy. They're incredible, man. So they're a fun team to watch. They're really my league pass team to watch. I enjoy watching them. I was never the biggest LaMelo Ball fan, but you got to respect game, man. And the brothers got game. And let's be honest, man, who really had the Charlotte Hornets as a 7th seed in the East going into the All-Star break? I didn't. So fantastic job, Charlotte. And then at the 6th seed, the Miami Heat with an 18 and 18 record. And I'm going to give them a C. I'm giving them a C because last year they were in the finals, and I think we all expected a little bit more if they were, because they talked about coming back. Well, we're coming back. Okay. Well, when you're going to talk like that, man, then 18 and 18, we can't give you a high rating to start the year at the midseason report. So it was a slow start to the year for them. Obviously, there was injuries, there was COVID issues, things along that line. And Jimmy Butler, man, as soon as he got back into the lineup, they need Jimmy Butler to win, man. They need Butler to win because Jimmy Buckets, man, he's averaging 20 points and giving you over 7 boards and over 7 assists a game. So he's taking that straight from the finals, and he's brought it to his game during the regular season. Big ups Jimmy Butler. He is such a fantastic player, and he does a lot of things that don't necessarily show up in the stat sheet because he could do a lot more. In the sense of showing numbers, but he does other things, and he has other ways of affecting the game. Now for Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson and Goran Dragic. Now Tyler is only at about 15 points a game, and a lot of people were like, should he be an all-star this year? If you remember watching the finals, they're like, oh, or after he had that 38 point game against Boston last year, they're like, Tyler Hero is going to be an all-star next year. Okay, well, he's great one way on the floor, but he's got a lot to grow in the defensive end. And like I said, when you have those 3 guys out there on that court, there is so much of defensive liabilities that it really makes it easy for some teams who are competent to attack those guys on the defensive end. And then Bam continues to just be absolutely impressive. He's at 19 points a game. This guy is so special, man. He's really a baller, dude. They are also 10th in assists a game, as well as they are 5th in opponents' points a game allowed. So that's very good on the defensive end. Spoelstra is a fantastic coach. Anyway, moving on to the number 5 seed. Number 5 seed, boy, we have the New York Knicks. Absolutely, man. They're at 19 and 18, and I am giving them an A rating. Let's go, New York. All-star Julius Randle averaging 23 points a game, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. RJ Barrett's at almost 17 points a game. Emmanuel Quickley's averaging 12 points in about 18 minutes a game. But we are looking good. Leon Rose made a great trade to bring over Derrick Rose, bring in some veteran leadership. They're looking fantastic, man. Tibbs has these boys playing, man. Now, he's been known to overwork players, yes. And I always see that in RJ Barrett's career. And even David Fizdale was overplaying him, I thought, in his rookie year. And I think if we just let this guy develop, he's going to be great. Do not forget, RJ Barrett is younger than Emmanuel Quickley. Okay, so don't be so quick to be like, oh, quickly. Don't forget, man, RJ Barrett's younger and a far better defender right now, but they have, I think their 2 games could end up complementing each other very well. Now, the New York Knicks are 1st in points allowed a game. What? The best defensive team in the league almost, man, as well as 3rd most rebounds a game. Tibby, fantastic work, man. And Mitchell Robinson's been out for quite some time. He's missed about 10 games, and that looks to continue for the foreseeable future. So Nerlens Noel's been great, but Knicks, come on, baby. Let's go. New York, For me, Melo forever, baby. But let's go, man. Way to go, New York. Way to keep that up. And I am excited to continue to cover this team. As remember, they are a 5 season at the mid-season review, man. I love that. And then at the 4 seed, we have the 19-17 coming off a 3-game winning streak, Boston Celtics, and I am giving them a D+ rating. Now, the D+ rating isn't all their fault because, yes, Marcus Smart has been out. Yes, Kemba's been dealing with some knee issues, and he's starting to come alive right now, and they're really starting to trend upwards. But as soon as Marcus Smart gets back, they need him back, man. Because here's the thing, dude. Danny Ainge, I really think he needs to build this team a little bit differently for the Boston Celtics. Because when you have a guy like Jason Tatum, you have a guy like Jaylen Brown, those two guys are reminiscent of Jordan and Pippen. Not saying they are as good as Jordan and Pippen, but they have similar games in the sense of being a 2 and 3 wing guys who are fantastic. They got good mid-range. They can drive to the basket. They're probably better shooters now because the game wasn't really much like that back in the Jordan era. But without Marcus Smart on that team, he is absolutely vital to that team, and they need him out there for that team to truly be he's just a leader, man. He's a leader for that team, and that's just what it is. And all the slander, man, and all the slander about Brad Stevens, I think needs to go away. It needs to go away. In my opinion, I think he's an incredible coach because he took Butler, man, to the championship with Gordon Hayward as their best player only for one of the years, 2 years in a row. Okay, and then he had Boston in the conference finals his first year with Jason Tatum, and a lot of people are so quick to judge him, man, but in his 5 years they've been in the conference finals 3 times, man. So yes, they haven't made it over the hump, but yes, he's exceeding with talent that might not necessarily could have been where they should have been, right? So big ups to him. But Danny Ainge, man, I think we got to make some moves for this team. We got to get some different pieces. I think we need a bigger center out there. I'm saying it's not my team. And I think I love Marcus Smart there. I think maybe we could move on from Kemba Walker. I think defense, 3-point shooting, as well as a couple slashers and a big is vital for Boston to move forward, because I think once they make this team right, which I really hope they do, they will be a championship team. I foresee a championship in Boston's future. How soon, I'm not sure, but while Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are on the team, I do predict that they will win a championship at some point. The reason I give them a D+ though, basically, is because I think they should be a far better team. D+ may be a little bit harsh, and I think they have a lot of talent on their team, but to be 19-17 in the East, that's just not it, man. And I really think Boston keeps going in the direction that they seem to be going right now, but we'll see. And then at the number 3 seed, we have the Milwaukee Bucks with a record of 22-14, and I'm actually going to give them a B- rating. Now, they've had a much slower start to the year compared to last year, but they are still first in rebounds. They are still second in points a game scored, as well as 19th now in points a game allowed. So their defense isn't quite where it was now, even though they picked up Drew Holiday, who is, as many NBA players would say, the best on-ball defender in the league from the guard standpoint. I think they need some more time to gel, because Coach Budenholzer, he is now putting Giannis in some different late game scenarios where he's not so much just catching and having to drive or having to run the offense. Now he's getting him in some plays where he could just be running, gunning, slashing, cutting, finding holes, finding the cracks, and he is. And he's playing a great year right now. Giannis is playing fantastic. And don't forget, man, they signed him for 5 more years. So Giannis going to be relevant in Milwaukee for a long time to come. So we're not going to be forgetting about Milwaukee anytime soon. And hopefully they got enough to make the next leap. But honestly, for me, I think that their peak or their max right now with the current team they have is conference finals. I don't see them going beyond that. Now, they might, but I really just don't see it personally. But I still think that Giannis a great player, man. And their franchise is continuing to trend in the right direction as long as they continue to try and build around Giannis. And then with the top 2 teams that we have left on the board, we have the Brooklyn Nets with a 24-12 record. And guess what? I'm giving them an A+. I know they're just 24-12. You're like, you got Harden, KD, and Kyrie. No, man, they're playing incredible. Who thought they were going to have almost zero chemistry issues? I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting to watch. But dude, Kyrie and Harden are working fantastic together. Kyrie said, Harden, you play the point guard. Harden's like, okay, I'll average 11 assists a game. What, man? And then when you got Steve Nash as the coach, it's kind of like, all right, well, can he get these guys together? We don't know, because we've never seen him coach. But don't forget, man, Mike D'Antoni, who was Steve Nash's coach when he won MVP and who was James Harden coach when he won MVP, is their assistant coach. So you take KD, Kyrie, Harden, and you give him one of the best offensive minds in basketball history, Mike D'Antoni, throw the D on there, Mike D'Antoni, that is lethal, my friend. And you got guys like Bruce Brown who are playing incredible. He is becoming a superstar in his own role, which is what you need from these players. DeAndre Jordan's playing pretty good. I think they need some more help defensively, but like Harden said, they don't need to be the best defensive team in the league, but they need to be good. They need to be around average. And that's kind of happening, and you're seeing them just ball. And KD's been out for a while. Obviously, health concerns will limit this team if they have those issues. But with Harden, man, he's carrying that team even when Kyrie's not there, when they had their 24-point comeback against Phoenix. And Harden's been averaging 25, 8, and 11 on that team since he's been there. Those are sensational numbers. He's already second all-time in Brooklyn Nets franchise history for triple doubles. For the Brooklyn Nets, man, I think they are the championship favorites as of now. If all teams in the league stay healthy, it should be them and the Lakers potentially. I'm not that big as on Marcus. Oh, we'll get into that in the next video when we talk about the Western Conference side. But talk to me, guys. Talk to me in the comments. Tell me what you think about the Brooklyn Nets, because I am massively impressed by their team. They are first in the league in points per game scored, obviously, and they're 27th in points per game allowed, but they were last, and it is trending down because they're starting to play good enough defensively. Picked up guys like Andre Roberson, Iman Shumpert, but you got to give the Brooklyn Nets an A+. They pulled James Harden. They brought James Harden over to their team. When you get a guy like that over on your team, that's a huge move for a team. And they have 3 guys averaging over 25 points a game. When's the last time you heard of that ever happening? Because guess what? I've never heard of it. That's crazy. That's just incredible. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. If that team stays healthy, it's a wrap, man. I think it is a wrap. For the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, we have the Philadelphia 76ers with a record of 24-12, and I am also giving them an A+ record. Doc Rivers, Daryl Morey, round of applause. You guys have done incredible. Daryl Morey flipped the script with this team, bringing in Danny Green, guys like Seth Curry, getting some shooters around there, bringing in Doc Rivers, who is a great coach for Tobias Harris, who is now 20. He's like a borderline all-star whenever Doc Rivers is coaching. That's how he was back in the Clippers. So this team is really playing some good basketball, man. They're playing like a team. And Joel Embiid, and I've been saying this for years, but he is the best center in the league, and it is not close. Okay, Jokic is great. Okay, outside of Jokic, it is not close. But Joel Embiid averaging 30 points a game, 11 rebounds a game, and about 3 assists. But he is a bully down low, man, and he is playing Superman style basketball, and I am in love with his game. It is so fun to watch. His mid-range game is wet as ever, bro. He even got a step back midi, and it looks so tough, dude. But you have Joel Embiid playing like an MVP favorite. You have Ben Simmons playing like a defensive player of the year favorite. Does that sound like any team you saw last year? Oh yeah, the Los Angeles Lakers, man. So they got a good foundation there in Philly, and we are reaching near the peak of the process. I think the only kind of mild weakness for this team is their bench. I really like Korkmaz. I think he's a great player, and I think their team is going to continue to develop, and those guys are going to get more confidence. But overall, I really see this team as an absolute championship contender. I think they have a shot at it because I believe in Joel Embiid. But there you have it, man. Now, if you like this kind of content, you actually watched all the way to this point, dude, leave a like, subscribe, man. That would be so fantastic. Talk to me in the comments. So that's what I want the most, man. I want to talk to people. I want to communicate. I told you I'm from St. Louis, baby, so not a lot of people like basketball here. So talk to me, man. Let's get into this conversations. Let's debate it. Tell me what you think. If I talked about your favorite team, if you thought I had an accurate review, or you feel something different. These are my opinions, man. I watch basketball every night. I watch League Pass. I love it, absolutely. If this video can at least get 10 likes, man, which would be great, then I'll do a Western Conference video tomorrow, and we'll go over all those teams with the mid-season review and grades, because I love doing this, baby. Either way, it is your boy Hoops Life 24Q7. Come on, baby, stay tuned, stay with me. Peace.